Game 1 of the NBA Finals. In the first quarter for Golden State, Stephen Curry was incredible, finishing the quarter with 21 points, hitting 6 of 8 3-pointers. At the end of the first quarter, Golden State led by 4. In the second quarter, a mini Golden State run, up by 10. Boston survived the initial Warriors run with a run of their own. At the end of the first half, the Celtics led by 2. In the third quarter, Golden State went on a vintage third quarter run, scoring 38 points in the period. Boston with their backs against the wall, trailing by 15 points. At the start of the fourth quarter, the Celtics trailed by 12. Just when the game seemed to be over, Boston threw a haymaker of their own as they outscored the Warriors on their home floor in the fourth quarter, 40-16. At one point, the Celtics went on a 17-0 run, shocking Golden State and their home crowd at the Chase Center, 120-108. In Game 2 in the first half, it was a close one, as Golden State led by 2. In the third quarter once again, a back-breaking third quarter Golden State spurt, as this time they will not let the lead go away. They will not let the Celtics get any closer for the rest of the game as they turned away the Celtics. In Game 2, Boston had 18 turnovers. Golden State scored 33 points off of the turnovers. At the end of the third quarter for Golden State, Jordan Poole broke the Celtics' spirits with a half-court heave. At the end of the third quarter, Golden State led by 23. They ended up taking Game 2, 107-88, tying the NBA Finals at a game apiece. Now, for the first time in 12 years, the NBA Finals is shipping up to Boston. Can the Celtics hold serve on their home floor, or will the Warriors take away the home court advantage? From the gridiron to the court, talking all that is sport. Represent a busted up a nation, bring to you our Nation Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Ezra Vickery, Joey Thornton, Kevin Rorie, Randy Giron, and Stephen Wyand.
Shit, I thought that the last part was going to fucking echo forever. What's going on, everybody? We are live here. We are back. It is our Nation Sports Show, and boy, what a busy week in sports that it has been, and we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to get into. We got a lot to dissect and discuss. And guess what? You wanted the best? Well, they ain't here, so you get us instead. Trust us, and that's not saying much, but we are here live, and we thank you guys for joining us here on our Nation Sports Show. I'm Ezra Vickery, of course, and I'm back in the hosting chair this week after battling a little bit of an illness, but I am here. I'm ready to rock with all of you, and of course, my four cohorts here, who I will introduce just shortly. But of course, we got to get to the specifics on how you can follow us and interact with us during the show and after the show. Follow us on Twitter at @ON_Sports Show. You can follow us there, interact with us there. Also follow us on the YouTube, where we are currently live. Hit us up there. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. We are getting close to the 100 subscriber mark. We are nearly there, guys. A couple more subscribers, and we got it. We can get that custom URL, which makes it easier for you guys to find us and for us to share content with you. Also, don't forget to like our Facebook page and our Instagram page, our Nation Sports Show, of course. Don't forget to like, of course, the Nation's Corner at the Nation's Corner and Nation's Corner across socials, and Discord GG/the Nation's Corner if you want to interact with us on the show or on the Nation's Corner, which of course happens Saturday, this same time on Saturday on youtube.com/the Nation's Corner, where all things pro wrestling take place. Here it's all things sports and a little bit of pro wrestling spattered in between if we got time. Also, don't forget to follow my page at Too Sweet Cosplay on Facebook for all your cosplay and wrestling needs as well. Our next appearance will be announced shortly, so keep an eye on my social media, 2C Cosplay for all information. And of course, follow our individual social medias if we have them, which will be posted at the bottom in this description. All right, now that I got that out of the way, let's go ahead and introduce the crew for tonight. As usual, we got our 5-man booth here. Way better than 83-man booth Raw usually has outside of Jimmy Smith. But anyways, we got with us right now. Of course, I got to introduce my man first here, our Oakland Raiders expert, and the guy who wishes Colin Kaepernick would stay further away from Oakland and the Golden State Warriors themselves. Randy Giron. Randy, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Hope everyone's having a great Tuesday. Looking forward to the show tonight. Some cool finals talk, and Kaepernick, he can stay away. That'd be great.
Oh, come on. Don't let Randy fool y'all. He wants Kaepernick to be on there.
Yeah, well, oh, wait, breaking news. Oh, hold on.
What? Randy Kaepernick is going to Washington?
No.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
Yes, he is. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Joey said he's sick of y'all.
Yeah. What is Joey doing?
That's why Joey's camera is turned up to the light on his.
He don't want to hear it.
He's trying to shed some light on this subject, but great show tonight, and I'm glad to be here as always. Thanks for having me. And
you're here so you don't get fined.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't get fined. Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. I heard Joey wants to be a good DJ. Well, you got to start from scratch.
Yes.
Anyways, next up, we got with us here is our resident sports expert here. This guy's got more knowledge in his head than Albert Einstein has theories. Let's bring him on. This guy's of course, he's played the sports and he knows his shit better than anybody else here. That is our good buddy KR, Kevin Rorie. Kevin, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's another great Tuesday, another great NBA Finals matchup we're getting into. And I'd like to say we missed you last week, Ezra, and I know lately here in the last month we've had everybody kind of in and out of the lineup, but I just want to say we're still in the lineup more than Anthony Davis. That's all that matters.
Yes.
We're still in the lineup. We're still in the lineup more than Anthony Davis. We're still further ahead than LeBron's hairline. And
we haven't quit on our teams like Kyrie Irving.
Yeah. At least our vaccine card's up to date. Moving forward, let's go to our next guy. Of course, my buddy here, the man himself, Roll Tide's own Joseph JT Thornton. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's having a great Tuesday. And I want to start off by saying, screw all of y'all. Cam Newton better stay away from any type of Commanders merchandise, uniforms, helmets, the organization, whatever. Cam Newton better stay away because he don't belong there, and he never will. But I hope everybody's having a great Tuesday, and I also want to start off by saying I'm looking forward to seeing my boy John Cena come back in just a few weeks on Monday Night Raw to celebrate his 20-year anniversary. So let's go.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Cannot wait for that big announcement that coming from the WWE. Of course, John Cena making his return for his 20th anniversary coming up. Also, as a reminder, wrestling reminder, don't forget coming up also June 26th, live at the United States of Chicago, Illinois, Forbidden Door, AEW New Japan. Going to be a historic show. Of course, I will be there live on site for that event. Cannot wait to be there and report some of this stuff, not only on this show, but on the Nation's Corner as well. So keep an eye on my social media and Nation's Corner social media for that. But finally here, the patriarch of this fucking show. Without him, none of this would be possible. And that is, of course, my heavy metal brother from the North Kakalaki. Well, the only man who makes it. Well, actually, Dave Grohl is better than he does. Stephen Wyand, what's up, brother?
Hey, I've been waiting for you ever long. What's going on, everybody?
I didn't want to come last week. I just didn't want to be your monkey wrench. I wanted you to lead the show so we can showcase the best of you.
Well, all my life I've been always searching for something never comes, never leads to nothing, I guess. Anyway, so we're here to talk about the NBA finals and all of that good jazz. So, well, not in Utah, but anyway, so let's go.
Yes,
Hey, you guys
sir.
are just the pretenders.
We got a lot to get into and a lot of comedy to create because that's what we do in this fucking show. We're not this boring old sports show where we're two stiffs sitting at a desk. First take. Bitching and complaining about the latest in sports. We're not doing that. We try to have fun on the show, guys, and that's what we do by jokes and all that stuff. We're not your traditional sports show we're not run by anybody. We're just five goose who decided to put together a show from across the U.S. So here we go. But look, we try to have fun, guys, and that's exactly what we're here to do. We're trying to create an entertaining program for you guys as well as it's entertaining for us because we love to laugh and have a good time. So let's get it rolling, guys. We got a lot to talk about. Let's get into the NBA Finals. And, man, already it has been an absolute barn burner. Of course, last Wednesday we saw that Game 1 shock from Boston coming in and winning that Game 1 at home, stealing the win from Oakland at their home base, stealing away from Golden State at home. And coming in with that 20-2 run led by Al Horford, who was just playing out of his mind, and they were able to sneak away that victory. But in Game 2, man, as I said to you, Kevin, on the show, or as I said to you on Twitter or on social media, is that they cannot make the same mistake twice. They cannot let this happen. And they sure as hell did. Steve Kerr got them motivated, got their minds right, got them focused, and they went and they basically nearly blew Boston out of the gym. I think he led by as many as 27 points and ended up winning
29
points.
29.
Winning by what? 19?
Yeah, 19.
Winning by 19 points in a big, huge victory that sets them up to go to Boston for Game 3. And little known fact about this is the first time that Boston will have an NBA Finals play game since 2010. So it's been 12 years since the last time Boston has played an NBA Finals game at home. So it'll be really, really interesting to see if Boston will have that home crowd behind them or if Golden State can factor that out and really showcase what they're truly about and take Game 3 and take not only that but a commanding hold on it heading into Game 4 Game 4 in Boston as well. Kevin, I want you to go ahead first because I know this series is kind of your series with Golden State, you being a Golden State Warriors fan. I kind of want to get your opinions on Game 1 and 2 since we haven't had a chance to discuss it because it came after the show aired on Tuesday. I want to get your opinion on both games and kind of what do you see from Game 3 with now in Boston at the TD Garden in Boston's hometown with the home crowd behind them? Do you think that Golden State could factor that out and really put a stranglehold on this series, or is Boston really going to be that really going to have that home crowd behind them and have that elevate them to another huge win?
It's a difficult question because of Boston, to be honest, has been a way better road team than they have been a home team. I don't know why. I don't know how it's even possible, but they have put on some stinkers in the TD Garden this postseason. And I mean, one where they let Brooklyn before they ended up winning, but they were trailing as many as 23 points to the Nets. And then Jason Tatum had that 9-point game 3 or 4 stinker against the Heat. And then Game 6, they laid another egg when they could have closed it out. Boston is not a good home team this postseason. And what thing I've noticed is Boston has to be licking their chops. They got to be happy and pleased because let's be honest, if Golden State doesn't put on such a stinker in the fourth quarter of Game 1, Golden State's up 2-0 right now.
Yep.
Like they were giving Horford, according to ESPN Next Gen Stats, wide open looks. Like anybody can knock that shot down. Hell, my grandma can go out there and knock that shot down. It's wide open looks. And I think what Golden State realized is we didn't put the foot on the gas and we didn't put the knife in their neck deep enough. And we let Jordan Poole, who has no finals experience, play in the fourth quarter to start the fourth quarter. by his lonesome with no Clay, no Steph, and he was just giving the Celtics fuel to add by turning it over, throwing up dumb shots. I mean, respect to Jordan Poole. I love him, but he's still a 21-year-old kid who has never played in the finals game. The nerves got to him. He got the shaky. He couldn't do nothing, and Boston took advantage of it. And I'd like to say I respect Boston. I love what they've done in their front office. I love some Jason Tatum as a Duke alumni. I love him. But I got to say, and I know this firsthand, Steven knows this firsthand, Boston fans are very hostile. I'm not saying they're as bad
They
as
very
Cowboy
are.
fans because they've actually been successful, but Boston fans are very hostile and at times very idiotic for their thoughts, because after game one, Kendrick Perkins, former Celtic, had the balls to go on TV and said, this might be a 4-0 sweep for the Celtics. I'm like, really? This is going to be a long series. Last week in my prediction, I didn't get the games right, but I said it's going to be a 1-1 split going to game 3. I said it's going to be a 2-2 split going to game 5. It's going to be a 5-7 game series. It's going down to 6 or 7. I said it. So all the Celtics fans in the community that are way overreacting to game 1 finally got a reality check out of game 2. This game 1 is, oh, we blew Boston out. Our role players locked him down. We locked Steph Curry down. We shut him out the second half. He couldn't do nothing against us. Want to read you a stat here, which I think is funny. The narrative that these Boston fans have put in this series that Marcus Smart is going to completely lock Steph Curry down is outrageous. Steph Curry is shooting 62% from the field when guarded by Marcus Smart, 45% from 3, and he's leading the series in points per game. He's clearly the best player in this series. So I know it's early, but will we please cut the narrative that, oh, Steph Curry goes to sleep in the finals? Because the guy's averaging 32 a game, 5 threes a game, 6 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 steals a game. He's clearly the best player on the floor. And I love Jason Tatum, but he's been erratic. Jaylen Brown has been completely erratic. Game 2, I'm going to game 2 now. Jaylen Brown comes out the game firing. And then it's like the second half, he's like, I don't know how to shoot no more. I don't know how to do nothing no more. Tatum the same way. He's trying to force stuff because he thinks he's a point guard trying to make Chris passes. And what he does is giving Golden State the ball right in his hands. And, I mean, I'm sorry, but Steph Curry's the best player in the series. He's proven it, and he's already started out hot proving it. And game 2, Clay has been struggling. We get that. I think Golden State's mindset on this series was, you know what we got to do in game 2, and it's why Boston won game 1. We got to fight fire with fire. Boston came out on defense firing. So you know what we got to do in game 2? We got to lock the fuck up. We got to shut them down. We got to not make them role players guard them. Tatum's going to do what he wants. Brown's going to do what he wants. But this bullshit from Horford can't happen. And you know what they did? Al Horford, Marcus Smart, and Derek White had 6 points between all 3 of them in game 2. Golden State came out with the mindset is we're going to be physical. We're going to be physical with them. We're going to beat them down. We're going to punish them. We're going to guard, close out, make them miss shots. And the turnovers that you mentioned in the intro, Steven, it wasn't like Boston was just being careless with the ball, dribbling it off their foot, doing dumb shit. Those were defensively forced turnovers. Golden State's defense stepped up. They got in the passing lanes. They guarded real close. They double-teamed Tatum when they needed to. Draymond held it down in the paint, forcing turnovers. Curry got in the passing lane, had 4 steals that game. And when you give Golden State that ball in transition, I don't care what kind of defense you got. You're not guarding Steph Curry and Jordan Poole and et cetera. But that's my thing. Boston is good. They're going to be good. My thing is if one of Steph Curry's henchmen, so to speak, if one of them semi gets it going, I don't think Boston really has a chance. Right now, Boston's getting the benefit of the doubt because nobody on Golden State's really stepping up for Curry right now. Curry's balling, but I will say, and hear me out on this, the third quarter by itself when Golden State took the game away, what happened? Jordan Poole came to life with Steph Curry. If Jordan Poole or Klay Thompson in any game has one of those 20-point games and explodes with Steph Curry, Boston doesn't have the firepower, as long as Golden State's playing defense, obviously. They don't have the firepower to compete with Golden State offensively. Boston has to do it on the defensive end of the floor because Tatum is not going to go out there and be Luka Doncic. He's not going to give you 45. Jaylen Brown is not a consistent scorer. One day he'll score 30. Next day he scores 20 in the first half and have 2 points the rest of the game. It's just not. It's not their recipe for success, so to speak. They have to literally win on the defensive side of the court. And I think the key to game 2, not only was their defense right, people got to realize Draymond Green brings so much energy to that Golden State team that when he's fired up and he gets around Rousey and going and here and there, that team's damn near unbeatable because they feed off of that. They feed off of the altercations. They feed off of the yelling. They feed off of the how much they are hyped up. They feed off that. And then Draymond is the voice of that team. He's that anchor. So when he gets fired up, here comes Curry. He gets fired up. Wiggins gets fired up. I mean, guys like that. And then another difference maker I tell you about that we did not see in game 1, but I don't know why. And I know Steve Kerr, I'm not going to question a great coach, but Gary Payton II was available for game 1 and did not play. Game 2, he played and came in damn near locked down Derek White every chance he got. Derek White couldn't get nothing going because of Gary Payton II's defense. He defensively locked him down to where he couldn't do nothing. And I think that's what Golden State's going to have to do as well, is they got to put in more Gary Payton. Maybe even went to the starting lineup if Klay Thompson continues to struggle. Because if you're going to fight fire with fire, having guys like Draymond, Wiggins, and Payton all on the floor at the same time is a good start too, because that's one hell of a defensive lineup. But one thing I do want to say, and I don't know how it's a controversy. I think it's the Boston media that made it such a freaking controversy. But that was the Draymond Green, Jaylen Brown altercation. And, should he got teed up? Should they got teed up? Here, there, yada, yada, yada. I don't believe this is playoff basketball. This is NBA Finals basketball. Should not have been a technical. Ask any player. JJ Redick said it. CJ McCollum said it. Vince Carter, all these guys that's played the game said regular season, yeah, that's a T. Playoff basketball, you're fighting, like you're scrapping. There was nothing dirty about that because, and if you want to be technical about it, Jaylen Brown initiated the altercation. Draymond fouled Jaylen Brown on that 3, and it's called, and if people don't realize, it's called science. It's called gravity. Draymond's gravity fall pushed his legs across Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown's the one that got up and threw Draymond's legs to the side. Draymond just responded like, "Hey, don't push me, dude." And then they got it all in that. So if you want to get technical about it, Jaylen Brown instigated it. Now, I would have thought different if maybe Draymond instigated it. Maybe that would be a deserving of a technical, but he didn't. You're a grown-ass man. Like in Game 5 of the 2016 Finals, it's ridiculous because LeBron James instigated that contact or that technical foul on Draymond Green. What did I think is bullshit? Yeah, it is bullshit. Was it smart though? Yes, it was very smart. And the Celtics, that goes back to their inexperience. They're too inexperienced to realize that's what we need to do. We need to try to bait Draymond into starting something. He needs to be the one to initiate it because the refs doing what they're supposed to. We don't want to kick the guy out of the game. We want the best players to be available. We're not trying to control the outcome of the game. So we're trying to keep Draymond in. But if you were to kind of lure Draymond into starting something, then there you go. But the Celtics didn't think that way. They just let Draymond get under their skin. They couldn't even focus on the game of basketball. They was out there fussing with Draymond and couldn't even think about how to play defense. So that my hat goes off to Draymond. I always love a guy who's physical, who plays the game, who plays defense, who loves to get fired up, who loves to get under guys' skin. And if anybody has a problem with that or think it should be a technical, then good God, don't watch Rasheed Wallace in the NBA playoffs. Do not watch Kevin Garnett in the NBA playoffs. Do not watch Dennis Rodman in those 1997-98 finals. Do not watch him because everything they did was 10 times worse than what Draymond Green did. And I said it, and I'll say it again. If you don't believe it was a technical or you thought it should be a technical, then I hate to see what you think about Rasheed Wallace and guys like that because that's or the bad boys. I'd hate to see what you thought about Isaiah Thomas and company. I'm sorry, but that's just being soft. That's just soft. And what it is to me is, and it goes back to Boston's toxic fan base. They knew the way Draymond was playing, Boston didn't have a chance. The way he was getting them fired up and under their skin, Boston knew they didn't have a chance. So what the fans wanted him out of the game because they thought, oh, he goes out the game, we got a chance to win. Kind of a cheap tactic and a cheap trick because any player I know would want the other team's best 5, so there can't be any excuses. There can't be, oh, he was out, so we lost. No, you want the other team's best 5 on the court, and you got to put in work. So I think Golden State, in my opinion, I think the Warriors, I think they win game 3. I think they're going to come out slinging. I think Klay Thompson's hurt enough. I think he's going to be in line for a big game. I'm going to say Steph Curry. I think he still puts up 25, but I think Klay Thompson puts up 33. And I think they win a thriller in game 3 to go up 2-1. But yet again, I still think it's going to be a split. I think Boston wins game 4. But right now, I'm going Golden State, and I'm still going to stick with my own guns. I'm going Golden State in 6.
Okay. I do agree. I do agree with your assessment on Draymond. I mean, Draymond, yes, there might have been a sense of just, Draymond defending himself. I do agree with that. I also agree with your assessment on the games. I also agree with your assessment on especially game 3 coming up. It's got to be a thriller. It's going to be an epic battle. You know that Boston's going to come out swinging because it's their home state, in their home turf, and they're going to come in there and try to defend their home turf. But, Golden State is going to try to ride that momentum from game 2. And it's going to really depend not only on Klay Thompson's performance, but also Jordan Poole, Looney. Those guys have really got to, because Jordan Poole in that game 1 barely had anything.
It was terrible.
He was terrible in game 1. He's got to step up in game 3 again. He's got to really showcase off the bench why he is one of the best off that bench. But for me personally, I'm going to go with your same thing. I'm going to go with Golden State to win game 3 and then Boston win game 4. I think it is going to be a split. I kind of had this. I had this as a sweep originally. Even before Golden State won, because we all thought Golden State was just going to blow through the competition, especially if Miami made it. But to me, I have to go with Golden State, and I agree with you. Golden State in 6. I agree. It's not going to go to 7 games, but Golden State's going to really just. I think they're going to hammer the point home tonight on prove. Hey, you got this may be your house, but this is our series. I mean, you just got to watch the playmakers. Though you got to watch Marcus Smart. You got to watch Al Horford. You got to watch all them guys. All the guys on Boston. That's the one thing. Especially Horford. Horford, despite his age, has been playing out of his fucking mind. The guy has been an absolute beast these playoffs. And you know what? It's going to be a close game. I don't predict no 20-point blowout. I don't predict that. I'm going to go, and this is. I'm going to go I'm going to go with a 5 to 10 point ratio. 5 to 10 point difference is going to be the score. I'm not predicting a whole score, but I think it's going to be 5 to 10 points for the winner. Whoever wins the game, they'll be up by that much at the end.
Yeah, definitely.
Randy, you want to take this one next?
Yeah. Hey, Kevin, I wouldn't worry about Kendrick Perkins. His takes are as bad as his outfits. That he
he stole
So
Bugs
don't worry
Bunny's
about that.
outfit.
Yeah, I mean, shit.
Hey, look,
Yeah,
Stephen A. said he looked like he should be in Alcatraz.
Yeah. Oh my lord. All he's missing was like a ball and chain around his leg. I mean, what the hell was that crap? But I think I was surprised at the when I saw game 1 at the end of the game. I was watching a little bit. I was on break at work, and I saw the start of that run that Boston went on. And I think what it is I think it's because during these whole playoffs, Boston has had been that fourth quarter team because they had no choice. They've been in all those games have been tight games with Milwaukee and with Miami. So and it's weird because Golden State's usually pretty prepared for all that, but they look shell shocked, and Boston ran them out the gym. And of course game 2 they they remedied that, but it was still I don't think they were ready for that. So hats off to Boston for coming out and kind of changing the way people were really thinking, because a lot of us, I think all of us thought, it was just going to be a cakewalk at first. They were beat up and had to go 7 games and all that, and they really turned it around on this series. But next couple games will be the telling tale. I think it'll be hard. It'll be a rough game for Golden State to play in Boston. That crowd's going to be hot.
Absolutely.
So I think it's going to be, but I think it's the rest of the series. I think it's going to go 6, and Golden State probably will pull it out. But these next couple games aren't going to. I don't think they're going to be the blowouts like we saw.
We got to get a close game eventually.
They're going to all be closer. Yeah, but I think Golden State will just show that they've, like we've been saying, they've been there. So experience will always win out. So
absolutely.
And I find it interesting. I find it interesting though that what Draymond Green said in the Draymond show, you might not, some people might not like him, but his analysis of basketball is pure genius. Like, he's damn near a genius at calling what he sees. And this ain't no disrespect to Al Horford, Ezra. You talk about how he's been playing good throughout the playoffs, but like he said, come on, man, Boston. We gave them the momentum to get that run started, but how many times are you going to see, no disrespect to him, but Al Horford put up a 30-piece? How many times in a series are you going to see Derek White put up 25? How many times is Mark? He was like, all 3 of those guys hit 16, 17, 18 threes by themselves. He was like, that ain't going to happen again. That was like lightning in a bottle. It might happen in Boston, not as serious because they play better at home, or role players always play better at home behind their home crowd, but it's not likely that those 3 guys are going to win them 4 games out of 7, because right now Tatum's been playing pretty piss poor this whole series, and Jaylen Brown has been completely, who knows, one shot he comes down and makes a clutch 3, and the next shot he's at the free throw line shooting air balls. I don't get it with them two. It's just the inconsistency for him. But Draymond said it best. He said, hey, look, those guys, it ain't going to happen again. And what happened in game 2? Everybody was criticizing for Draymond for saying that. In game 3, Marcus Smart has 2 points. Guys like that. Derek White had 2 points. Al Horford had 2 points. From 30 points to 2 points is a huge drop-off. And that's because the defense finally said, you know what, fuck it. We'll let Tatum shoot what he wants, and we're just going to step out and guard everybody else. And I mean guard everybody else, force turnovers, and they didn't know how to handle it. They blitzed them guys. And I just wish people would stop with the narrative about Steph Curry. Like I said, he's clearly been the best player in the series. His three-point making, his playmaking, his defense. People say the kid ain't got defense, but he was 5th in the NBA in guards and defensive efficiency rating. I'm tired of that narrative, man. And the GM of the Warriors, Bob Myers, is too. And to go out there and see how Steph has completely took the game over in game 2 is absolutely insane. And I'm happy for him. And just like Durant said, like Draymond said, everybody's hating again. He said that Steph Curry was double teamed 7 times more than Kevin Durant when they played together. And if you watch the film, it's true. And just like Draymond said, the offense has always went through Steph Curry, even with Kevin Durant on the Warriors, which is true. It always starts with Steph Curry up top. And people don't want to hear it, especially Durant fans, but it's the fucking cold, hard truth, man. And it's crazy to me. But everything that he said, I paid attention to, and it comes to light. I hope the Warriors win, because for one, Steph Curry should not have to validate shit. To me, he is a top 10 player all time. He's right out there at number 9 and number 10. I got him up there with Shaquille O'Neal and Shaquille O'Neal and Hakeem Olajuwon up there in the 9-10 area. If he wins the Finals MVP, I think he boosters Shaq, and I would put him at number 8. But I'm just saying, the Finals MVP shouldn't validate shit for him. But somehow it seems to do. But if they win the way he's played the first 2 games, obviously he's going to be Finals MVP. There's no
63 points in the first 2 games.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts around it. He's going to
63
win Finals
points
MVP.
in the first 2 games. Like, he is playing out of his mind. I mean, that first quarter in game 1, I mean, he just absolutely took over. I mean, 6 of 8 from the 3-point line was just insane, and my thoughts on these first 2 games. I mean, the biggest thing, the reason why Golden State lost that game in game 1, it's the rotation. That's the reason why they lost, because you're taking Curry out when he's that red hot from the 3-point line. Keep him in, because if they kept him in the second quarter, he probably would have hit at least a couple of more threes. He only had 0 points in the second quarter, and he only had 13 the rest of the game. He had 34, looks nice on the stat sheet, but it doesn't look great overall because he had such a monster first quarter. He came out firing, when I thought they got relaxed in that fourth quarter, and Boston just took it to them, and they hit 7 consecutive threes at one point, and Boston just took it to them. They were the more desperate team, and then in game 2, the first half, if you notice the common theme with this series, the first half is very close. It's very tight.
Yeah.
That third quarter is the pivotal quarter of these finals so far. Look at these stats. Golden State, 73 points in the first 2 in the first 2 3/4 of this series. 38 in game 1 and 35 in game 2. A combined score of 73-38. They have totally demolished the Celtics in the third quarter. And I mean, but honestly, if Boston did not have those turnovers in game 2, those were some of the worst turnovers ever. Yes, at times Golden State defense was just stripping the ball away from the Celtics. They were playing tenacious defense, but also Boston forced those turnovers on themselves. They were just errant passes and forcing passes into the paint, forcing shots outside, too many passes, all that stuff. The Warriors defense took it to them in game 2. And Kevin, I see your point. I see your point with Draymond on, in your opinion, he shouldn't have been ejected. But in my opinion, okay, so he already had a technical, right? For the first push down of Grant Williams. Okay, let's play devil's advocate here. If he did not push Grant down and get that first technical, let's be honest, no matter who instigated whether it was Brown or Green, hell, it could have been, you said it was Brown. It may have been Brown, but either way, if he instigated or Green instigated it, they're both in the wrong. So they both should have been teed up both at the same time. The reason why they did not tee up Green, in my opinion, is because he already had a technical. And they didn't want to get him out of the game because they didn't want to get that narrative. Now, I will say this: when he got tossed against Memphis in game 1,
yes,
I thought it was bullshit. However,
and you see how much heat the league caught for that. Imagine an NBA Finals game like
but at the same time, no matter who starts it, if you are in the wrong, you deserve to be given that technical. I mean, they both should have been teed up, in my opinion, because
and you know what, you're right, but I just want to know, I don't like how Boston's trying to use that as a scapegoat. Like, oh well, he should have been teed up. I'm just saying, if Jaylen Brown flipped the roles, if Brown had one technical and Draymond didn't have a technical yet, how much do you think Boston would have tried to push that issue? They wouldn't have. They wouldn't have pushed that at all.
And that's
a
good point.
Okay, just calm down. And they wouldn't have been crying about that technical. Should they? Could they have both caught? You're right. I agree with you. But
at the same time,
the narrative that, they're pushing it so hard because of who it is. Like if Rasheed Wallace did the same thing, other teams would push it that hard too. I remember back, the Lakers pushed so hard when Rasheed was on Boston in game 7. They tried their hardest. But if the roles were reversed and Jaylen Brown was that kind of player, Boston wouldn't say a word. They would just try to, okay, let's break it up. We don't, nothing. It's just interesting. I just wanted to keep that same energy if the roles were reversed. That was all.
And also as well, and I will agree with you on this, after that incident between Brown and Green, minutes before that first half was over, or seconds before that first half was over, I honestly, truly believe that affected Jalen's game the rest of the way. I mean, he was bad in that second half. I really think that Green's intensity, even if he does have a bad attitude, I think his intensity, really got to him,
Yes. I
but
completely 110%
honestly, Kevin,
agree.
But here's my thing as far as Golden State. If they are going to win this championship, Steph obviously has to be the vocal point. Yes, because the offense runs through him, and his consistency for once has been there. He has scored 63 points in the first 2 games of these finals. But the biggest culprit, Klay Thompson, has to show up. In game 2, he was 4 of 19 with 11 points. He was not good. 1 of 8 from the 3-point line. In game 1, he wasn't good. I mean, he's got to show up. And Klay is going to show up, in my opinion. It's going to happen sooner rather than later, because you know how Klay is. We all know how Klay is. Klay is a very dangerous player, especially on the opposing team's floor. In game 6 against Oklahoma City, had 30-plus points. Yeah. Had what? 11 threes in the game?
11 threes.
11 threes, 11 of 18 from the 3-point line. That is insane. That was obviously 6 years ago. But Klay is a dangerous player to me, honestly, on the road than he is at home, because that's just that's the nature of the beast, when it comes to these players is, do I expect Boston's role players to play a little better at home? Yeah. Honestly, Al Horford, for the most part, has been pretty well this year in the playoffs. Especially, against the Bucks, he was really good, in that series for the most part. Against Miami, he had his moments. Against Golden State, he had 26 points in game 1. Game 2, he was just piss poor. 2 points in the game at all. He's got to do better. And I really, truly think that the intensity of Golden State and just, they were aggravated. Ime Udoka was so pissed off at the way the calls weren't going their way. He stood up for his team in the Celtics and said, "I'm going to get a technical, to hell with it." He got the technical, and all that, but Boston was just very flat. They were just, fluttered, from Golden State's, bounce back. Because, we knew that that Golden State was going to bounce back in this game. It would have taken a miracle, for Boston to win 2 games, in a row on the road. But they got what they should have got, and they got what they wanted. And that was a split, because they could not afford going down 2 games to none against Golden State, even if they were going back on the home court, back at home. Because all the times that they've done that in the finals against Cleveland, 9 times out of 10, Cleveland hasn't gotten the series tied.
Oh, yeah. And, Stephen, I agree 110% back to what you were saying about the Draymond Green getting in the guys' heads. And that's what the game plan was, like, to bring the intensity. Because what was happening was Boston being so inexperienced that they were worried about the wrong shit. Steph Curry's over there getting wide open threes, and instead of trying to make adjustments, they're over there fussing with Draymond and fussing with the referees, while Steph Curry's still going around pitching Al Horford his way in the paint. They didn't know how to make adjustments because they wasn't worried about it. They were worried about fighting with Draymond and standing up and getting irritated. Because when you're angry, and we can all speak to this as grown adults here, when we're angry, we're not focusing on what the task is at hand. Nope. We're angry and in our own emotions. Draymond took advantage of that, and I respect that, because that's the old Rasheed Wallace, Dennis Rodman's of the world. I respect that. And
Jason Tatum was not focused in that.
He was not. And
because every time that nothing went their way, he was constantly bitching at the referees. And, and some of those calls, you can make the argument should have went their way. Some of them, yes. But at the same time, no matter if the referees or the whistles are going against you, you have to fight through that fire. And that's been the common thread through this show: fight fire with fire. And the fact that the Celtics are going to have to respond. And Jaylen Brown is saying the right things in the press conference and after game 2. We have to fight through all of the, of the noise, and the issues of not getting the whistles. Because if you fight through adversity, you maybe can come out on the other side of this game with the win. And that's the biggest key factor for Boston going in game 3 is they can't turn the ball over that many times.
And it's just natural that you can't expect the calls to go to your way when you're out in San Francisco and you're an East Coast team, just like Golden State doesn't expect to get the benefit of the doubt of game 3 when they go to Boston. But this series to me is like a chess match of a bunch of firsts. Golden State hadn't lost a game all postseason, and game 1, For the first time, they lost theirs. Just like I think Golden State beats Boston in game 3. Here's another one. Both teams have not lost back-to-back games this entire playoffs. I think Boston finally loses back-to-back for the first time. I think it's a chess match, and it's going to be a bunch of firsts because both teams are very talented. I respect the world out of Ime Udoka and that's the trend of these good coaches here lately. They've all been former players that can relate to their players, and they proved to be very solid coaches. Steve Kerr, Ime Udoka, Tyronn Lue, all those guys are former players who are now very great coaches.
Exactly.
I do agree with that. I do agree with all your assessments, man. Game 3 is going to be an absolute amazing game. I can't wait for it. Of course, that is tomorrow night on ABC.
And Joey, give your thoughts.
Yeah, Joey. Joey, we forgot you were so silent. You disappeared. You're like LeBron James at 4 minutes of the game, man.
Hey, come on.
The category. Bravo.
Come on.
You disappeared.
No,
Quicker than Antonio Brown left the Bucks Stadium.
First off,
same thing.
I'm not that bad. Second of all, I will never be that bad. And 3, I can have the same intensity as the guy I got on my shirt right here. So, yeah.
Oh, that's right.
All right, so
Kobe.
game 1. Obviously, I didn't really keep up with it on the TV, but I was able to keep up with it on my phone because I got the ESPN app. So I'm looking at the first quarter and the second quarter, and I'm just like, okay, Warriors are up early, so maybe they can actually close this out in the second half. And when I went to bed that night, I think the Warriors had like a slim margin on top of the Celtics at halftime in game 1. I was like, okay, they'll pick it up in the second half, and they'll probably blow Boston out the water. I wake up the next morning, and I see that Boston beating by 12, and I was like, what the heck happened? So I was looking at the research, and I saw that Boston outscored Golden State by 24 points in the fourth quarter, and I was like, dang,
a 27-point turnaround.
What in the world? So I looked more deeply into the stats, and I saw that Boston, they came ready to play in that second half. I mean, yeah, they had the matching intensity with the Warriors in the first half, but come second half, well, not necessarily the third quarter because that was all Golden State, but come the fourth quarter, their intensity was flowing over like a volcano that was erupting. So Boston, they really got the job done in the fourth quarter, and I was surprised. Excuse me. I was surprised they were actually able to take game 1 because I was saying last week on the show that I didn't think Boston had the intensity to even match up with Golden State, and that's why I said that Golden State was going to win in 5. But then I saw the intensity that Boston put into the fourth quarter in game 1 with everybody in their starting 5 actually playing very balanced basketball on offense and defense, that I was like, okay, maybe Boston might give us a competitive series here. But then game 2 rolls around, and immediately Boston came crashing back down to earth like I knew they would. Because, yeah, Boston, they had a great game 1. I can't put that past them. They've been a good road team this entire postseason. Much better than a home team. But Golden State has won 9 of their 10 games in this postseason at home. And I knew for an absolute God-given fact that the Warriors were not going to lose 2 in a row, especially on their home court. Because I know Golden State is much better than that. So it was no surprise to me that the Warriors took game 2 because I knew they would this whole time. But the fact that Golden State did it with far more intensity than what I saw from them in game one, that's what really drew me over the edge because I knew that Golden State was like, okay, we lost game one, our first home loss this postseason. We need to shake it off and move on. And that's exactly what they did because I knew they weren't going to quit. Because Golden State is a far more intensifying team than Boston has ever been in this, not just the postseason, but the entire regular season as well. So kudos to Boston for taking game one, but Golden State, I knew they weren't going to take that loss lying down. So that's why I'm glad that the series is evened up. And for game three in Boston,
It's going to be electric.
it's going to be absolutely electric. Now,
Goddamn electric.
God.
now,
Nice.
as far as the game itself, like we've mentioned earlier, this is Boston's first home game in the finals in 12 years since 2010. So the question is, will those Boston fans be able to energize their team into a possible game three victory, or will they just be saying, oh, you know what? We took game one all the way out in San Francisco. We ain't going to be surprised if we take games 3 and 4 on our home court and go up 3-1. I know we can do this. I know we yada, yada, yada. We just got to double team Steph Curry, double team Klay Thompson, make sure the Warriors don't get nothing in the paint. Oh, shut up. You're talking, this is the Golden State Warriors you're talking about here. This is the most complete team that I have ever seen in an NBA Finals. And yes, I'm saying most complete team, even more complete than Milwaukee when they went to the NBA Finals and won the dadgum thing last year. This Warriors team is more complete than I have ever seen in the NBA Finals. So I will say it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a definite close game, but I think Golden State is going to do just enough to squeak by game 3 with a win and go up 2-1 for Boston to say, wow, maybe this Golden State team is more intensifying and more extreme than we thought they were. So I can see the series going back to Golden State tied 2-2. And honestly, I think it's going to be. But knowing how Boston is, I wouldn't be surprised if Golden State takes both games on the road, goes up 3-1. Now, do I think that's going to happen? Maybe, maybe not. It just all depends on how intense Boston comes out. Because if Boston comes out in games 3 and 4 like they did in game 2, they're not going to win much of anything, especially when 3 of Boston's starters scored 2 points. And I got to say real quick, I was watching the highlight of game 2 as I was getting ready for work. As I was getting ready for work Monday morning, and they were talking to Stephen A. as he was giving his insight on game 2. And my God, he said the fact that Robert Williams, Al Horford, and Marcus Smart all scored 2 points in that game. I heard Stephen A. say, you can do that by accident in the NBA. I just about died laughing. I cannot believe Stephen A. actually said that, but I sure am glad he did. My God, that got me rolling.
Him and Kendrick Perkins are terrific together on First Take. I mean, oh my God, like they're the pain in each other's asses. It is phenomenal TV at times.
I mean, definitely. Just the fact that he said that scoring 2 points in the game, you can do that by accident in the NBA. I'm like, hey, man, come on. But
I mean, to
yeah.
be technical, at times when Kevin would play 2K here at my house, there would be times there would be accidents when points would be scored. When like he was trying to set a goal of having the team not to score 0 points, and somehow they got one bucket. He was like, "Damn it!" It was great.
Just like
that comes true.
Yeah. So yeah,
just like when
Stephen A
Kevin was
has a
saying
point.
just like when Kevin was saying on the pre-show last week, how on his 2K mode, he's let James Harden's doing all this crap and all this other bull crap, and it's just like he cuts off his minutes every game. I'm like, dang, man.
But I really tell you, the biggest key to this game is, these role players just have to be more consistent. I mean, just the way that they played, like, Sunday was just not good. If I'm Boston, you have to come out with this game 7 mentality, because you cannot afford to go down 3-1 to Golden State, because they are going to close them out if that happens in game 5. I mean, Boston has to take one. I think that Golden State will take game 3. Boston takes game 4. But if I am the Celtics, you have to go within with the mentality of, if we take game 3, we got to take game 4, because even if they go up 3-1, Golden State will take game 5. That gives Boston a better chance. But see, that makes it interesting, doesn't it? Because if let's just say the roles get reversed, wouldn't that be something? Because Golden State is more than capable of digging themselves out of a 3-1 hole, because they've done it. They've done it before.
2016 Western Conference Finals against that bona fide Oklahoma City team, who is more talented than this Celtics team with prime Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant. We've seen it before. But I think if Golden State does go up 3-1, I think it's over. I love Boston. I love their players, because let's be honest, though. This Boston team is not LeBron James and prime Kyrie Irving. I'm sorry. I love Tatum, but Tatum and Brown couldn't scratch the surface of LeBron James and Kyrie Irving, and they barely done it. So I think they have to, if they drop game 3, Boston has to let it all out on the line in game 4 just to get it tied to have one more game in game 6 possible. They have to. There's no if, answer, but they have to. But I'll tell you something funny about the series, though. What this series really actually separates is who is actually a Los Angeles Laker fan and who is actually a LeBron fan. Because, listen, the LeBron fans want the fucking Boston Celtics to win, because they don't want Steph Curry to have the same amount of rings as LeBron James. No damn Laker fan, would want the Boston Celtics to win.
Exactly.
The real Laker fans want them to sit their ass at 17 winners with the Lakers.
I hate
for
that.
The Boston Celtics.
Seriously. Kevin, I'm not trying to change the subject here, but hear me out here. So remember, Kevin, when the New England Patriots took on the Atlanta Falcons in Super Bowl 51 down there in Houston in 2017? You mean to tell me that you have Carolina Panther fans, New Orleans Saints fans going, go Falcons? No, don't give me that crap, because no fan of a team is going to pick their division rivals to win a championship just because they can't stand Thomas Patrick Brady.
I would.
Randy will.
I know Randy would. See, Randy, you're
100%.
Randy, you're excluded, bro, because we know you. We know you very well.
He was over there screaming. He was over there screaming in 2020. He was screaming in 2020. Go Chiefs! Go Chiefs! Go Mahomes!
Yeah, I like the chefs that day.
Hey, Steven.
Yeah,
that's like me being a Commanders fan. If Dallas were to make it to the Super Bowl and just, let's say Dallas makes it to the Super Bowl against. I'm just gonna throw a random team out there.
Hold on, Joey. Hold on. Real quick. Hold on. Yeah. It doesn't matter who Dallas faces in the Super Bowl. They're still gonna lose.
Joey, stay off the shrooms. You're hallucinating again.
No.
Dallas in the Super Bowl.
Hear me out, though.
Hell.
Hello, we're calling Planet Delusional here.
Saying that, is like me being a Commanders fan pulling for Dallas at any time, whether it's in the playoffs, regular season, Super Bowl. It ain't never gonna happen. It ain't never gonna happen.
The only time
I
Dallas is at a Super Bowl mix is when somebody's standing with a big ass bowl of chili at a cook off.
Oh.
You gotta
Roman Reigns at AT&T Stadium with the 2 championship belts. Just saying.
You got a better chance of Ryback returning to WWE than you do Dallas.
Oh.
Ouch!
Oh.
Ouch!
Hey,
You know what? Let me ask you guys this.
by the
So
way,
this-
fuck Ryback.
Yeah, exactly. Let me ask you guys this. So, Kevin, I'm pretty sure you're going to agree with this, with my assessment on this Celtics team. Honestly, shut up. But anyways, this Celtics team reminds me of that 2010 squad. The reason why, they were not a great home team that year in the playoffs. They were up and down, up and down. They were a better road team. They were a home team.
I 1000% agree with that because I remember that 2010 series. Boston, like you said, was an up and down team. They didn't know. I mean, most of the time, they didn't know what their left hand was from their right hand.
Because the common thread with the Celtics team this year, they were up and down in the regular season.
It seemed like, and that is what scares me about this Boston team. Because, yeah, they have a complete team with Brown, Tatum, Harford, Williams, and Smart. They have a complete team.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing that measures a true NBA team or a true NBA team's level is the consistent play that they provide night in and night out, week in and week out, month in and month out. And Boston has not shown that, especially here in the postseason, because if they wanted to, they could have come with the same intensity series in and series out. They could have finished off Milwaukee in 5 or 6. They could have swept Miami. But Boston just lacks that
The only time that Boston showed any desperation and like, hey, we got to get this, honestly, in my opinion, is the Bucks series. Because when they were down 2-1, they responded. When they were down 3-2, after blowing Game 5 against Milwaukee, in Game 6 in enemy territory, Jason Tatum came out and took over that game. You know, and that's the biggest thing with the Celtics this year is they got to be more consistent. Go ahead.
Exactly. And like I said, if they would have stayed with that consistent intensity that they showed against the Bucks, they would have swept the Heat 4-0. No problemo there. All they had to do was defend Jimmy G Buckets like it was nothing. But they couldn't do that because they lack that consistent intensity. And that's why I said earlier that it would not surprise me if the Warriors take both games in Boston and finish off the series in 5. Now, do I think that's going to happen? No. I think Boston's going to take game 4. But at the same time, knowing how Golden State is and knowing how Boston is for their consistent intensity, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
You know what really separates Golden State from anybody Boston played is the offense. Their offense is so unique. Remember back in the day with the Lakers and they ran that triangle offense that nobody can seem to stop with Kobe Bryant. It's not the same offense I'm saying, but Golden State likes to run a motion offense, which is a collegiate level offense. There's always your off guards are always running around screens. Here, they never stop moving. When they played the Bucks, that is a central ISO. Okay, give it to Giannis. Everybody's out the way. I'm going to drive and kick. Kevin Durant, Kyrie, same way. Drive and kick. The Miami Heat, basically, without any guards, were the same way with Jimmy Butler, just ISO superstar. Golden State's not going to do that. They're going to screen you. Curry's going to give it to Draymond. Curry's going to run around the screen, run around 4 or 5 screens. Marcus Smart's going to take a beat and going around screens. And if you're not disciplined with your communication, they're going to make you pay, whether it's a 3 or whether it's a wide open back cut to the rim for an easy dunk. Everybody's been getting it, and it's so hard to defend that offense.
Yeah.
But Boston, their best series, I got to disagree with you guys. Their best series as far as consistent level playing, has been against the Brooklyn Nets.
No,
Because they
I
showed
said
perseverance. They swept those guys. They played at home. They played on the road. They came from behind. They persevered through it and done it. But then they go to the Bucks, and off the gate, game one, the Bucks got them down by 20 when they blew them out. Then it's like, oh Lord, here we go. And then Boston goes up. They go back down. They go up. No Middleton the whole time. And you just can't do that against a well-rounded team. If you do that against a well-rounded team, like I believe if they would have done that against Middleton and the Bucks, I would have had the Bucks in 6, to be honest with you. But no Middleton really hurt them. Boston did it against Miami, but who the fuck does Miami have? They
besides
can't
Jimmy
do that
Butler,
with Golden
nobody.
State. They
What I
can't
was
do
saying,
it.
what I was saying is their best play of desperation was Milwaukee. Obviously, their best consistency was the Brooklyn series because they outplayed Brooklyn in that series. I mean, that's what I was saying was their show of desperation that they had to win these games with their backs against the wall with that mentality was the Milwaukee series. But obviously, we can all agree that the Brooklyn series was their best series as a team.
I do agree with
I
that.
agree. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I do agree with that. But then again, anybody could beat Brooklyn on any given day, especially with the team they have. And it's not being a joke. It's unfortunately being true. Unfortunately, there's a lot of problems, and we're going to get into that here in just a second. Like I said, and thank you to everybody for your takes. That was some great takes on this series. Of course, like I said, Game 3 tomorrow night on ABC. Check your local listings for that. But there's this page, Legion Hoops, that posts a lot of great news stories and really is into the basketball world. So let's get into some news, why don't we, before we move on to some other talk. One of the biggest ones is James Harden. James Harden has until June 29th to pick up to decide whether or not he's gonna pick up his $47.4 million player option with the Philadelphia 76ers. So that's one big news.
Knowing Harden, he'll probably lead the team. Just saying.
That's too bad for the 76ers if he decides to.
Because every team that he's been on, he's quit on.
He's terrible.
Quit on the Nets, quit on the Rockets, quits on the 76ers, and cannot win it in a big spot.
Yeah.
It would not surprise me.
Also, real quick, according to the New York Post, it says all indications point to Kyrie Irving signing a contract extension with the Brooklyn Nets.
Kyrie's lucky because he's not going to be asked, hey, can you get your vaccine?
Well, California did announce today that they were instituting their mask mandates, so it could change at any time. So I wouldn't put too much stock into that theory, Stephen.
I got a theory if that's the case, now that it's not a demon, but Kyrie will be screwed then because him not following the protocols and not agreeing with the protocols cost him so many games, and it cost the Nets to be the number 7 seed, and they got swept.
Yeah, but once again, yes, they got to follow rules. Once again, that is also everybody. It's also anybody's prerogative on what they decide to do. So I can't fault Kyrie for following his beliefs or whatever it is that he believes in. I'm just gonna leave it at that. But anyways, some more news. This deals with basketball, but this also is academics. J.R. Smith was named North Carolina A&T Academic Athlete of the Year as he had a 4.0 GPA. So very, very smart guy, J.R. Smith is.
He kept his shirt on during the celebration, didn't he?
and I hope that he doesn't walk backwards when he when he accepts
game one.
Yep.
Oh yeah, and I hope he doesn't.
Yeah, by the way, 4.0 is also the amount. Hey, just to let you know, real quick, 4.0 is also the amount of muscle fat that's on J.R. Smith.
Damn.
Yeah, but I hope he doesn't go for a 3-pointer like he did in that finals game against the Warriors and have LeBron look at him with that face again. Which became a meme for so many months.
Threw the ball away or whatever, yeah.
Yeah. It says this summer, if the Bucks decide to, they can offer Bobby Portis a 4-year, $48 million contract.
I hate Squidward. I hear you, Squidward.
Hiya,
He looks like the
Squidward.
basketball version of Squidward from SpongeBob. I can't unsee it now.
Hiya, Squidward. That's a shit ton of money they're paying you.
Hey, listen, I swear to God, I seen this thing, and I don't want to go back to series, but we're talking about players. How the hell does Otto Porter Jr. look like Wilt Chamberlain? They said Wilt Chamberlain slept with over 5,000 women. And someone said one of those women has to be Otto Porter Jr.'s mom. Because he looks like Wilt Chamberlain.
Truth, man. I've seen that. My gosh.
I can't unsee it.
Yeah, absolutely. Some other news, and this is some welcoming news here, and that is that Mike Breen, of course, legendary commentator for all of for especially these NBA playoffs. He after dealing with a bout of COVID, he is expected to be back for Game 3, according to a report.
Finally.
Him and Curry's the best duo in the NBA.
Yeah, but I gotta say real quick, in regards to your comment, Kevin, if Bobby Portis looks like Squidward, that means Kendrick Perkins looks like Patrick Starr.
I can see it.
Kendrick Perkins looks like he's wearing a box that suit.
He needs to take that suit back to Alcatraz or Bugs Bunny. A little white pinstripe.
Yeah, he actually
Hey,
looks like,
what's up, Doc, with that suit you got on?
yeah.
Hey, Daffy, look at this. Yes, look at that suit you're wearing.
They said JJ Redick looked like he stars on Top Gun with his shades on.
I heard they've been looking for him in the next sequel.
Hey, he's gonna take it right into the danger zone.
That's it.
Oh, I love that song. That's my jam.
Yeah.
Okay.
But moving on, we're gonna I think it's really it for basketball news outside of maybe one or two things on NBA.com. Let me check real quick, and then we'll move on to some. I want to say real quickly. I know not a lot of us are into hockey, but want to congratulate first off the Colorado Avalanche on making it to the Stanley Cup Finals. I believe it is for
First time since 2001.
Yep,
Yeah,
and the Rangers are up 2-1
years.
in this series.
Yep, it's going to be awesome. Yep, Rangers and Lightning, man, 2-1. This is going to be one hell of a Stanley Cup conference game.
That series is going 7. Mark it down. It's going 7.
Yeah, I think so too. I think those two teams are just too evenly matched.
Especially since Tampa Bay has won back-to-back Stanley Cups.
Yeah, Tampa Bay's going to be looking to make that 3.
You know they're not going to go down without a fight, especially when they got Steven Stamkos as their leader.
Oh, Steve Stamkos is one of the best players in the entire league, period. If not the best player in the entire league.
Absolutely.
Right. Those two goalies are playing out of their minds too.
Oh yeah.
Man, they're great.
Oh yeah.
I've enjoyed
Absolutely.
watching the Stanley Cup playoffs this year.
Oh yeah.
I really have. It's
I tried
always
to
good. It
I
really.
tried to watch as many games as I could, of course, work schedule permitting. But
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the work schedule is permitting for me from not watching the fucking Stanley Cup playoffs or the NBA Finals, which pisses me off.
You cannot go wrong with playoff hockey. I mean, it's amazing.
You're just gonna have to quit, Ezra. No.
Nah, I'm just gonna have to watch.
Sorry, folks. Sports is on.
You're gonna walk in there like Sasha Banks and Naomi did and say, "We're getting the hell out of here."
Yeah.
Oh god. But yeah, not just in
Or he's gonna walk in there like MJF, fire me, you fucking mark.
Yeah. That'll work. That'll definitely
Fire
work.
me. Yeah.
Oh,
That's the
dear
only way he's
God.
been able to watch all of these sports is if he gets fired.
I know this is
Steven, you just
the
had to
wrestling
bring
show
that
here.
up, did you?
Yes, I did.
You just had to bring that up, did you?
I had to, because it's the hottest. It's the hottest.
Nobody in that locker room can lace my GD boots.
They were probably trying to go towards the CM Punk eventual.
CM
MJF thing.
Punk of 2001.
Oh my god, it was so
Who knows?
great.
You know.
Woo!
Anyways, go ahead, Ezra.
Oh no. What I was gonna say was that real quick, of course the big news, of course one of the biggest news was the departure of Quinn Snyder from the Utah Jazz. After eight seasons with the team, I
Oh yeah.
believe it was
Yeah, I did read that this week. Yeah.
He still had 2 years left on his contract. They discussed an extension, but they could not reach an agreement. So, and Danny Ainge wanted him to stay as much as humanly possible. But unfortunately, Snyder decided to go ahead and take his pay and walk out. So
I think that's going to affect the Jazz down the road because he's been there for 8 years. And, for the most part, they've been a pretty good team. They haven't gotten over the hump just yet. For a couple of years, they had one of the top teams in the Western Conference, seen of the NBA, and I think they're still going to be a top 5 team this upcoming year, but they're not going to be where they've been at the last couple of years. That's a huge loss for Utah.
Honestly, I don't blame him for wanting out or not wanting to extend because you got so much controversy with Rudy Gobert said he don't want to play with Mitchell.
And Donovan Mitchell.
Might have your franchise star Donovan Mitchell requesting a trade. He might be sick of it. So the Jazz are about to come crashing down, and the future looks completely dim for them right now.
I think at best they finish 5th or 6th, but at worst they'll be almost dead last in the Western Conference.
Still better than the Lakers.
Yep.
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 Absolutely. Let's go ahead and transition over to some football news. Why don't we? Let's go ahead and get into that real quick. We do have right now. We do have a few news notes. One of the biggest news notes was that well, it's not really big, but Aaron Rodgers came out and said that he will be definitely finishing his career with the Packers. Fuck it, we knew that a long time ago. But
We knew
For a
that
second,
whenever
I thought you said Aaron Rodgers came out. The way you
we
said
knew that
that,
whenever he first got drafted
hadn't
out of
came out.
Packers.
Pride Month, so I don't know. I thought you said Aaron Rodgers came out.
Well, some more news coming up here in this one is that this is something you know very well, Kevin, is that San Francisco
49ers? Niners.
Sorry. Their pass rusher, D Ford, has said that he's done with San Francisco. So he was excused from minicamp, but no, he's not doing anything with us. That's according to Kyle Shanahan.
Dang.
So unfortunately, he said he's got the good clean health from his doctors and was going to check him out with our physical. We do not expect him to be on our team. So D4 possibly looking for a new home coming up this season. So also some more injury notes and other notes is that Darius Leonard for the Indianapolis Colts, their linebacker, will be until at least training camp after undergoing surgery on his back.
Oh,
wow.
Oh, good God.
Yep. Other big news: Jacksonville, CJ Beathard, of course, his brother Casey was unfortunately lost him in Nashville, and his brother Tucker is a country music star.
Right.
Rock On, great song, by the way. CJ Beathard, he was carted off of practice Monday with a groin injury, and he's not going to knee surgery, and the injury is not overly serious. So he'll just have to rehab and recover. So luckily, good news there on the end of CJ Beathard coming off that injury. Kyrie Williams from the Rams broke his foot last week. But he is expected to be back by training camp. Also, edge rusher Kayvon Thibodeau and Kadarius Toney from the New York Giants will still be in red no contact jerseys for this week's minicamp as they deal with injuries. And also, quarterback Daniel Jones has been cleared for contact and was healthy enough to hypothetically start a game today. So there's some good news there. Front and a couple other quick notes. The Baltimore Ravens have agreed to terms with their number 14 overall pick safety Kyle Hamilton on his 4-year rookie deal worth about $16.255 million.
About time.
Also, the Ravens have also signed
Nice.
4th-round pick cornerback Demarion Williams to his rookie contract. Raiders, of course, this involves you, Randy. They have signed Asian tight end Jesper Horsted per the NFL transaction wire.
Nice. Good deal.
Also, we got to talk about real quick the news that's been really breaking, and of course, does involve you, Randy. I'm not sure if you guys discussed this last week, but the news that Colin Kaepernick has been practicing with the Las Vegas Raiders. That's a very interesting story. I don't mean, and I'm not bringing this up as a joke. I'm trying to actually, have a discussion here. I mean, it is funny. I can't lie, but I can't lie though. But no, seriously, this is a very interesting development because ever since we call Kaepernick, he's been trying to get his name back out there, trying to get a team that'll sign him, but nobody seems to want to take the extra baggage along with it, with Colin's views on the national anthem and everything else. I don't want to get into politics ever on the show, and I want to keep that free from this discussion, but Colin, as a player, he's got great skills and all that, but the question is, do we see Colin Kaepernick sign with the team this year? And if not, what's his future going to look like? Do you guys have any ideas?
Go ahead, Joey.
I was gonna say, I'm not gonna lie, Kaepernick, he's said some things and he's done some things over the years that's not really crowd pleasing, but I mean, Kaepernick as a player on the field, I mean, sure, he's no Tom Brady or Peyton Manning or Drew Brees or Dan Marino or Joe Montana. He's nowhere like them. But I will say though, Kaepernick, he can be a consistent player when he wants to be.
Especially that first year he started. I mean, took the team, took the Niners to the Super Bowl in his first starting, half of the year. I mean, San Francisco was a couple of plays away from winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, and he can be consistent when he wants to be. I mean, he made some good plays. He made some good throws down the field. I mean, I've been watching NFL highlight videos, just scrolling through Facebook time to time again, and I see plays that Colin Kaepernick has made in the past. I saw a play where he ran for like a long touchdown run, and I'm just like, you know what, Kaepernick, he can be a great player. But given everything that he's done over the years, that has prevented him from getting an NFL contract. I mean, do I want to see Kaepernick back? Quite possibly. And heck no to that, Randy. Heck no to that. But I just want to say, I mean, do I want to see him make a comeback? Yeah, possibly, because if they could bring back Michael Vick from doing his dog fights over the years, then they could surely bring back Colin Kaepernick for something that he's done 5-6 years ago. So, I mean, I could see him making a comeback. Now, will it be for the Raiders? I don't know. Will it be for the Commanders? Absolutely freaking not. At least I hope not. But could it be for anybody else? Very possible. I mean, the possibilities are endless when it comes to Kaepernick. So it just all depends on if a team wants to stretch or extend that out an olive branch for him to sign on a contract.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've said it before on this show. If Al Davis is still alive, Kaepernick already would have been a Raider. Al Davis would have signed him a long time ago. So it's only fitting that he's talking to the Raiders about anything. So that's how that goes. But I think he should go back to the 49ers. Kevin would welcome him back with loving arms. Kevin has great memories of his last couple games. So Kevin, you take it from here.
Hey, you know, the Raiders could do the stupid thing and bring back Jamarcus Russell and show them those empty tapes from back in the day again.
That empty playbook, yeah. You might as well just put the money into right in the sewer.
All right, I'm just gonna say this about the Colin Kaepernick situation. I'm glad he's using his stance. Okay, stand up for what you believe in. Good. This has not got nothing to do with him on a personal level or what he believes in, this and that. This is strictly football, and I do believe like Cam Newton, there's only lightning in a bottle. He had one good fucking year and a half because don't forget Alex Smith won the majority of them games in 2012, by the way, if nobody knows. Alex Smith didn't get benched until week 12, for Christ's sakes. So, god darn, you done got off to a damn 8-2 start, for Christ's sakes. 2013, he still wasn't that great. They barely made the playoffs. I mean, granted, they went to the NFC Championship game, but Richard Sherman made them look like a bitch. I mean, and that's coming from a 49er fan. I'm sorry, but this is just like Cam Newton's 2015 campaign. Okay, MVP, you did your thing. What did he do since? Colin Kaepernick was benefited with a good offensive system and a good run system, similar to like Jimmy Garoppolo has benefited the last 3 years for the San Francisco 49ers, and that's just facts. Like, you got Frank Gore, who's a first ballot Hall of Famer in your backfield, number 3 overall rushing. You have Michael Crabtree, Vernon Davis, who at the time was the second to third best tight end in the league, the best offensive line in football. Then you got 2 first ballot Hall of Famers like Justin Smith, Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman, and before he got into trouble, Alden Smith. Come on, man.
Oh, yeah.
Colin Kaepernick just benefited.
The secondary was beat.
I'm sorry, because once half of those players left, might I remind you, and I'm sorry, but this is fucking pathetic. His last game as a San Francisco 49er, he was benched to Blaine Gabbert because he was 1 of 8 with 4 interceptions. He threw 4 more picks than he did completions. I'm sick of it, and it'd be okay if he would come in, accept his role as a backup, which is he's trying to do now. I respect him for that. But when you had a chance, and I'm sorry, I've been following this for the last 10 years, he had a chance to sign with the Baltimore Ravens in 2016, talking to the front office. And you know what this clown says? But you'd have to be a backup to Lamar Jackson, because at the time they just got Lamar, was it 18? One of those two. And you know what this clown says? No, I'm a starting quarterback. I'll be a backup. I want starting quarterback money. I want $33 million to sit the fucking bench. Who is going to pay a backup quarterback $30 million to sit the fucking bench? Is absolutely absurd, and I'm sick of it.
The Raiders will do it.
If he comes on, $2 million, $1 million, backup quarterback money. Okay, I'm all for it. But when you have the balls enough to go out there and go 1 of 8 with 4 interceptions and then demand starting quarterback money to be a backup when you just got benched to Blaine fucking Gabbert, no,
and he hasn't played in 5 damn years.
Every quarterback in the NFL is better than Colin Kaepernick, starting wise. For Christ's sake, Zach Wilson didn't even go 1 of 8. Come on,
Mark
now.
Sanchez is better than Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, good God. Every starting quarterback in the NFL is better than Colin Kaepernick. It's just that simple. I would say Carson Wentz. I would take Carson Wentz bum ass over Colin Kaepernick. For Christ's sakes. David Mills, I would take over Colin Kaepernick. Jesus Christ, neither one of them threw 4 picks and only 1 completion. That's just the benefit of the doubt that he got from playing under Alex.
Why is he out here demanding this kind of money when he hasn't played in the league in 5-6 years and hasn't done good since 2013 or 2013, 2014, something like that. He hasn't been consistent. And no one the Raiders will do it. Don't do it.
Listen. I'm just sick of the narrative that because of what he did, which is his own right, and I am not shaming him by no means. I'm proud that he stood up for what he believes in. Okay, do that. But they're coming out, the media, and it's the new media. They're coming out with this narrative that, they don't want to sign him because of his drama. No, it's not that. Let me remind you, I believe it was 2017. The clown had a fucking workout in Atlanta, Georgia, and he literally didn't show out. He did not show up for his own fucking workout. That's like me saying I'm going to a job interview and just not fucking show up. Like, why do you think you deserve to be in the NFL if you can't even show up to your own NFL workout where there was over 12 to 15 teams, I was told, that was going to look at him, and he doesn't even show up? Why does he need to be in the league?
He hasn't been a major name in almost a decade. Why does he? You know what? That's the biggest problem with a lot of athletes It doesn't matter what sport it is, no matter what, if it's football, basketball, etc., you name it. Just because they think that they know that, oh, I used to have a great past when I was with this team or that team. Just because you were successful does not mean you are going to be successful in your new walk of life in the National Football League. Because I'm telling you, if Derek Carr gets injured and let's just say if they do sign Colin Kaepernick and Colin Kaepernick shits the bed with the Las Vegas Raiders, Raider Nation is going to crucify him. It's going to be bad. Thank you, Ezra. Go ahead, Joe.
I had that exact same thought, Stephen. You literally took the words right out of my mouth. It does not matter. It can be football, basketball, baseball, hockey, golf, tennis, soccer, you name it. These players, they think they have one good season. I mean, like take the 2015 Carolina Panthers, for example. Cam Newton, star quarterback, leads into a 15-1 record. All the way to the Super Bowl against the Denver Broncos. Before the game, Cam Newton said, you know what, we went 15-1 in the regular season. We breezed through these playoffs, and now we're taking on the Denver Broncos in the Super Bowl. You might as well just go ahead and hand us the Lombardi Trophy right away because we're going to beat the living crap out of Denver. What did Denver do? They made Cam Newton look like an absolute freaking fool. They sacked him. They forced turnovers on him. And the Broncos easily destroy Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers. But it's not just Cam Newton. It's all these other players that think they have one good season, and yet the next year they're asking for, and I'm just throwing something out there, a 10-year, $300 million deal. Please, come on.
There's a common thread with these quarterbacks that get paid.
That has what has killed so many teams' budgets, because some of these owners, they say, you know what? You did have that one good year for us, so why not? We'll give it a 10-year, $300 million deal. And what do they do as soon as they get that contract? They freaking play like crap on the field. And before you know it, these owners are like, why in the world did we pay you this money if you're not even worth 2 cents of it?
If I am the Raiders, I would stay away from Colin Kaepernick. Do not give him the benefit of the doubt. Just because he'll sit there and say the right things. Oh, guys. Perfect. Do not tell the Raiders. Out of all teams, the Raiders. Do not tell them, pay me this money, because I took San Francisco to the brink of a Super Bowl championship against the Baltimore Ravens in the Big Easy in New Orleans in 2013. I was a couple of plays away of making the Super Bowl again, but I threw an ugly interception against Richard Sherman, but we won't mind that. I still had a great run in San Francisco for the first couple of years, but he won't sit there and tell them that he got benched by Blaine Gabbert. How the hell do you get benched by him?
And keep in mind that it's not just the quarterbacks, it's any other position player. And I mean, I hate to bring this up since I am a Washington Commanders fan, but I got to speak the truth here. The Commanders have done a horrible job reaching out to these top-notch free agents like Donovan McNabb and, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I'm going to say this stupid mother freaking's name again. Albert freaking Hainsworth. My God. So
that would be your Tom Brady then.
Yes, it's funny.
So to speak, yes.
Funny, but it's funny,
very accurate, so yes.
It's funny, but at the same time, it's the truth. Washington has done, they have done a horrible job in the past reaching out to these top-notch free agents and paying them all this money and then going out playing on the field like they're not even worth a nickel of it.
Nope.
I'll admit there are some players who have had consistent results year after year after year after year, and they deserve these actual contracts. And I'll give you one prime example: Aaron Donald. He got his contract restructured, and now he is now the highest paid non-quarterback.
I was just getting ready. That was actually my next big.
Playing out there on the field right now, and Aaron Donald freaking deserves it because the dude is a freaking monster with the ball.
2 years, $60 million.
Exactly, and he deserves every single penny of it. I mean, yeah, he may have been offsides in the Super Bowl, but at the same time, he led that defensive drive that gave the Rams that Super Bowl trophy. And because of that, and not only that, but the fact that he is first team All-Pro year in and year out, Defensive Player of the Year a handful of times. Aaron Donald freaking deserves it. So
he deserves the contract because all of the great times he's had with the St. Louis / Los Angeles Rams, he's been so consistent, and he will continue to be consistent as long as he plays a game of football. Because the intensity that he had in that run with the Rams, he was so laser sharp focused that he wanted that Super Bowl so bad, and they got the job done. And he deserves every single penny that he's getting.
Exactly. And you got all these players asking for this amount of money, and they go out and they play like they're not even worth it. And of course, I'll give you two more fine examples of that because you're seeing it right now. Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott.
Yep.
I mean, when are these owners gonna finally wake up and realize that everybody is not worth 20, 25, 30, 40, 50 million dollars a year? I mean, a handful of players are actually worth it, but not everybody. So stop giving into demands and actually do a good job at running your franchise, for crying out loud.
Exactly, because 9 times out of 10, these players are begging for money. They get what they want, and then they will sit on their ass and they won't practice and play hard like they did.
Exactamundo, right there.
Yep, definitely. And pretty much you stole my thunder there on that Aaron Donald news, but yep, as I said, 2 years, $60 million, got a $40 million raise, basically, is what he got. So,
nice.
But Aaron Donald, like you said, he's worth every penny of it. Star player. He's sticking around with the Rams for the foreseeable future, and that's great for the Rams organization. Now,
before
you guys give me your opinions, I just want to say one thing, and that is.
hey, but I gotta say real quick though, since we're talking about all this, I feel like it's very fitting to bring up the fact that Cleveland may have gotten the worst end of this bargain because they have now spent $230 million on a quarterback who now has a 24th case against him. When is this going to end for Deshaun Watson? I'll tell you when. Never.
I've heard, I don't know if Ezra's looking that up or not, but I heard that there's a lot more to it now that's even worse.
And I was actually just on the ESPN app a half hour ago, and ESPN has now run a story on their app saying that Deshaun Watson has met with 66 women regarding massages. So it would not be fitting if every single one of those women filed a lawsuit on him. It would not surprise me at this point.
66 women, no happy endings.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
Unless you're Cleveland.
See, you're supposed to put your hands on. You're supposed to put their hands on you, not put your hands on them.
Exactly.
Understand the policy.
Nobody ever told.
And that's
vital. the true meaning of that, apparently.
Let's give. You know what? Let's go ahead. Let's give a round of applause for Deshaun Watson. Let's go, everybody. You're wondering how I have this shit at the ready? Even I don't know.
Time's everything, brother.
Oh yeah, of course. I always have time for this. But no, seriously, that is insane though. That is insane. I don't know what to say. All I can say is bye-bye to your NFL career, you dumb, stupid moron. But besides that, let's go to some other news with the NFL real quick. And that is that Romeo Crennel has announced his retirement after 50 years of coaching. Unfortunately for him, it had to end on the Texans. But
yeah.
But it of course, let's talk about this. The man, the myth, the legend, Ryan Fitzpatrick has announced his retirement.
The beard is gone.
The beard is unfortunately gone. And also let's talk about this. The big move. Let's talk about people buy the sale of the Denver Broncos right now that's going on. According to this from Adam Schefter, second round bids to buy the Denver Broncos are due. This was yesterday, are due later today as the process continues to move along per league sources. One source maintained that, despite any speculation, no favorite has emerged at this time. It looks like Denver, the whole team is on the market.
Wow.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, the Raiders owned them last year, so I mean, may as well be the Raiders.
Could you imagine if Walmart seriously got the Broncos?
The Walmart donkeys.
Donkey.
Hey, you know it's hopefully maybe they'll have all their gear discounted since they're going to be for Walmart.
Yeah. Save money.
Everything will end with the number 7 or 8, just like Walmart likes.
I think their slogan should now be "Save money, play better."
The Walmart rollbacks. That's what they'll be called.
Yeah, Walmart rollback. There we go.
There you go. Wham!
Oh, Jesus.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I know. Trust me, we're idiots, but I digress. Also, another retirement is Alex Mack, former 7-time Pro Bowler, has announced his retirement after 13 seasons in the NFL.
Oh,
Kevin's just like,
No,
move along.
No, you don't know about that.
I'm looking at this right now, and it looks like Walmart is about to own the Denver Broncos because they're saying that Robert Walton has submitted a $4.5 billion bid for the team. And they're saying that the Broncos are the Broncos are going to accept it towards the end of the month.
Yeah, guess what? Every player, guess what? You don't get a sign-in bonus. Y'all get a free Walmart Plus subscription.
What? No.
10% discount. 10% discount.
I think
Discount double check.
Listen. I think McDonald's should have bought the Broncos. Then they'll be called the Denver McDonkeys. I think that fits better.
Hey.
Kevin, you just killed me.
Yeah.
Touchdown, McDonkey!
What, the Denver McDoubles?
You know what? I like that one better.
And that's a McDouble. First down.
Oh
my
Hey,
God.
no. Maybe McDonald's should own the Seattle Seahawks. They'll call them the Seattle McChickens.
That's a good one there.
I like that.
The McChickens. The Sea McChickens.
Kevin, you're killing me over here.
I know. It's hard not to. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm killing you with kindness. But anyways, another retirement. There's been a lot of retirements, man, and that is let's talk about one of the biggest ones, and that is the retirement of Frank Gore. Frank Gore has he has signed a one-day contract with the San Francisco 49ers and will retire as a San Francisco 49er, which is huge.
The first time since 2004 that neither Frank Gore nor Ryan Fitzpatrick will be seen on a football field.
Yep.
And Frank Gore leaves as the number 3 all-time leading rusher in NFL history.
And the guy who never learned how to age. Yeah, because he always.
No,
You know what?
Dude has been the same age for the past 20 years.
And you know what? That right there is why he's a future first ballot Hall of Famer. Because yes, he doesn't excite you with like 2,000-yard rushing yards every year, or he's a consistent. What do they call it? The inconvenient truth. He's consistent. Most consistent running back that we've ever had. I mean, in our franchise, to be honest, because year in and year out, he's getting you over 1,000 yards. He doesn't get hurt. The longevity, the only other running back that I know that has the longevity of him is Adrian Peterson, and that's with all the ACL injuries. Frank Gore he's a rare breed because of how long he lasted in the NFL. Hell, you got guys like Christian McCaffrey that lasted 1 year and he's already can't stay on the damn field. You got guys like Alvin Kamara can't stay on the field. He's beat up. You got guys like, hopefully not, but Derrick Henry's already suffered his first major injury last year. I hope it don't take a toll, but who knows? Running backs do not last long in the NFL. And for Frank Gore to do it since 2004 or later, that's incredible.
That's a rare accomplishment of a feat for running backs because, like you said, running backs do not last in this league. I mean, maybe 7-10 years, but they don't last longer than that. You know,
and look at the system he was in. Look at the system he was in. He wasn't just on a passing system where they throw the ball every down. He was in a system where we're going to ground and pound, ground and play defense, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. It's crazy. I'm proud of. I'm glad for him. I'm happy for him. I loved watching Frank Gore. He was one of my favorite running backs as a kid. He was to be able to watch him do it week in and week out. I hate he didn't win that Super Bowl in 2012 because that man sure as hell deserved it.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Agreed.
Definitely. Absolutely one of the greatest of all time to ever do it, Frank Gore. Wish him the best in his retirement. And next stop for him is, of course, Canton.
And Fitzpatrick really wasn't too shabby at times too. I mean, Fitzpatrick.
He had some grand moments, man. The dude had some of the most exciting moments in the NFL over the past few years. You got to think the guy took teams that were down and out and brought them forward to victory, and he's done that many times.
Yep, and he's also.
That's why they called it Ryan Fitzmagic for a while.
I think Fitzpatrick's last biggest accomplishment was beating the New England Patriots and knocking them out of the second seed. Remember that game? Because that was the infamous game when Kevin Harlan was calling both games at the same time when the Chiefs were winning their game and Miami just took the lead. He was at the Chiefs Stadium calling that game, and he was also watching the monitor when Fitzpatrick took the Dolphins down the field and scored that go-ahead touchdown 27-24 against the Patriots. And the infamous line, I thought you were calling this game. I'm calling both games. You know, and
that's great.
And
but he also had the lowest of lows when he tossed 6 interceptions in one game.
Yep. And
definitely.
But overall, I think his career was pretty solid. You know.
Yeah, I think he had a solid career. Also, we would be remiss if we didn't mention the unfortunate passing of Marion Barber.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we got the news after the show aired on Tuesday. Marion Barber, of course, he played 7 seasons in the NFL, including with the Dallas Cowboys and with the Chicago Bears. A great running back, hard hitting, just great in his position. He was only 38 years old, and our thoughts and prayers and our condolences go out to the family and friends, and of course the fans of Marion Barber. So, definitely did not want to leave the show without mentioning that. That was some horrible news that broke this past week in the world of sports. So,
Yep.
Absolutely. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we wrap this show up for today?
I think I'm good.
I think I'm good. Yeah.
Think I'm good.
Okay. All right. Let's do what we do best, and that is our final thoughts. Randy, why don't you go first, buddy?
Well, yeah, great show tonight, guys. I'm sorry, my cat was trying to take over this show. I'm not sure what he was doing over here. He has been meowing at me all night and climbing all over me and stuff. And I apologize if it was loud, but he was feeling really some kind of a different way about that Colin Kaepernick stuff. I think it got him going. So
Yep.
I apologize.
Yep.
And then he took off when he heard that Walmart was buying the donkeys. So I think that finally put him to rest there. So, but as always, thanks for having me, and great show, great analysis on the finals, and hope everyone has a great rest of their week.
Absolutely. Let's go with Joe. You're up, buddy.
Once again, another great show with you, fine gentlemen. Excellent analysis on the NBA Finals. Great analysis on the NFL stories. And I just gotta say, I love cracking jokes with you guys because it gets me dying every single week.
Yep. Killing you is the
But
best
yeah.
thing that we know how to do.
Oh yeah. But yeah, once again, another great show with you guys. Hope everybody has a great rest of their Tuesday, and I hope everybody enjoys the upcoming NBA final games because game 3 is tomorrow night, and I think game 4 is what, Saturday, I believe?
Friday.
Friday.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yep.
everybody enjoy the NBA finals and whatever's left of the NHL playoffs.
Absolutely.
Should be a good one.
Kevin,
There's
you're up.
another good show with you guys. Another great Tuesday talking the NBA, all sports, the NFL off season. And I just want to say, anybody out there and everybody here, if y'all haven't checked it out, The Last Dance is one hell of a documentary about Michael Jordan and that 97 Bulls team.
Yeah.
Man, I was watching. I finally finished the last episode of the season the other day, and there's without a shadow of a doubt why LeBron James should never be mentioned in the conversation with Michael Jordan as a GOAT. Just watch that documentary, and I promise you, anybody out there, it will change your mind 110%. But anyway, great show with you guys, and I really enjoyed it. Hope everybody has a great rest of the week.
Absolutely. Steven, you know what to do, brother.
As always, great show with you guys, and I wouldn't be reminiscent if I didn't bring this up, but this show goes out to my father, who is if anybody doesn't know, he is in the hospital right now. He is he's luckily for us, he is getting better by the moment, by the second, and we cannot wait for him to return home. And he's a fighter, and he's battling. He's in good hands, and he it was, I said it last week on this show, and then it happened the next day to us, just be good to everybody out there because you never know what's going to happen. Anything can happen, and unfortunately he had a health scare last week and he's been in the hospital, since last Wednesday. He's been battling for his life and had to have surgery Friday. And the surgery went well, and he's getting the best care from great doctors, and he's on the goods right now. He's looking good. They said he's looking great. He's getting better, and hopefully he will be home very soon. And love you, Pops, and can't wait for you to be home. And just love your family and your friends. Tell them how much they mean to you because you never know what could happen. And as always, great show with you guys talking about these finals and the NFL and whatever we decide to talk about, and can't wait to do it next week on a Nation Sports Show. Ezra, you know the drill. Wrap us up, my friend.
Absolutely.
I gotta say real quick, in regards to what you said, Stephen, about loving your family and your friends, I do want to bring this up just real quick. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of the Kendrick brothers, the ones who've made the movies like Courageous and War Room and Fireproof and all those other great movies.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
the cinematographer who works for the Kendrick brothers, his name was Paul Anderson. He and his wife Kelsey just recently lost their son named Elijah, who was only a year and a half years old. He was having a lot of problems with his to where he wouldn't respond to anything, and there was a small little glimmer of hope a couple of days ago, but his brain was never really responding to any activity, and as a result he was declared brain dead, and he unfortunately passed away this past Sunday. So my hearts, my prayers, and my condolences go to Paul and Kelsey Anderson and to any lives that the Anderson family has touched. So my thoughts and prayers go out to them.
Most definitely, yes, sir.
Yes, and definitely on that note, definitely on those notes, definitely. And we also want to say, of course, one thing also is that what was it? There was a we also want to also, me and Steven, we're rock fans, and there's a lot of rock podcasts out there, but one of the funnest ones is a podcast called the Shout It Out Loudcast, featuring Tom and Zeus. Unfortunately, Tom lost his wife this morning unexpectedly at a very young age. So we wish Tom for the Shout Out Loudcast the best. And we also want to say our condolences to Ken Kelly as well, the famous guy who did the artwork for Destroyer, Love Gun, and Rising by Rainbow, as well as Man of War Records too, and this recent Ace Frehley record as well. And also to Alec John Such, the former live touring bass player for the legendary group Bon Jovi. He passed away at the age of 70, so rest in peace to Ken Kelly, rest in peace to Alec John Such as well. Also, don't forget to please check out Nation's Quarter this Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific time, youtube.com/Nation's Quarter. Follow them on their social media as well. Follow us on here at _Sports Show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, Our Nation Sports Show. Don't forget to follow my Cosplayer Too Sweet Cosplay on our socials as well, and our individual socials, which will be listed at the bottom of this channel in this video. So, with that said, we are going to wrap it up here. For Kevin Rorie, for Randy Giron, for Joseph Thornton, and for my bro Steven Wyand, I am Mr. McCree, and we will see you right here next week for another great, awesome, Too Sweet edition of Our Nation Sports Show. Take care, everybody. Have a great week. Have a great week, and enjoy all the sports, including the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup playoffs. Peace.
Turn me up.